Welcome to True Case Files, where the shadows of the past whisper secrets begging to be told. I'm Jack Lawrence, award-winning and best-selling mystery writer. Every week we'll delve into the cases that have stumped detectives, baffled experts, and intrigued amateur sleuths worldwide. From unexplained disappearances, the haunting tales of missing persons, and giving a voice to those taken too soon. Each case holds a story yearning to be told. Join me as we sift through the evidence, unravel the clues, and confront the questions that have kept us wondering. Because in every unsolved case, there's a truth waiting to be discovered. For 29-year-old Elizabeth Barraza, January 26, 2019 started like a typical day. It was going to be a good day. She was out on her driveway setting up for a garage sale when suddenly a stranger approached. Without warning and without saying much of anything, that stranger took her life. Now, 5 years later, the police still have no leads, no answers, and are not much closer to finding the truth or getting justice for Elizabeth Barraza. It was a quiet morning in the Houston suburb of Tomball, Texas. Elizabeth Barraza was a beloved daughter and wife, known for her kindness and love for Star Wars. Her family and friends remember her as someone who brought joy to everyone around her. On January 25, 2019, Elizabeth set up her garage sale just after sunrise. She was excited, looking forward to a special trip with her husband. But at that very moment, something sinister was approaching. Security cameras captured a car slowly pulling up near Elizabeth's house. Moments later, an unknown figure stepped out, moving toward her. In just seconds, a life would be stolen. Elizabeth was alone in her driveway just feet from her front door. When the killer confronted her, what happened next was quick, brutal, and left more questions than answers. The aftermath was puzzling. Detectives found items scattered around the driveway, but no clear signs pointing to who had committed this act. The evidence was scarce, and the clues led nowhere. For weeks, investigators searched for leads, examining possible suspects and potential motives, but no one seemed to fit, and the identity of the killer remained hidden. Was this an act of random violence, or was Elizabeth specifically targeted? The Tomball community was heartbroken. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers gathered to honor Elizabeth, holding vigils and lighting candles, united in the hope that justice would come. Elizabeth's family, devastated and desperate for answers, made a public plea. Her husband, surrounded by loved ones, begged for anyone with information to please come forward. One theory is that her husband, Sergio Barraza, was somehow culpable of Liz's murder. Sergio most definitely did not pull the trigger, but some theories suggest that he may hold some responsibility, and there is a potential motive for murdering his wife. One potential incentive was a $250,000 life insurance policy with a provision that caused the policy to double under particular circumstances, which included murder. However, Sergio had not collected policy by choice or because the insurer will not permit him to collect the policy until he is ruled out as a suspect. Either way, he stood to gain potentially $500,000 from Elizabeth's murder. By all accounts of friends, family, neighbors, and loved ones, Sergio and Elizabeth had a very thriving and loving marriage. Another theory is the members of the 501st Legion may have killed Elizabeth. Sergio and his wife Elizabeth were both members of a Houston chapter of the 501st Legion, which is a Star Wars fan group that, among other things, engages in charity. Right before Elizabeth's murder, there was an election going on with the 501st that could potentially have caused friction between Elizabeth and some other members. Sergio even identified a specific woman in the group that he believes did not like Elizabeth. There's very little information about this dispute and zero evidence to suggest that anybody in the group had any reason to harm Elizabeth. Sergio's father was having multiple affairs and his financial situation was almost dire. People theorized it is possible that his father learned of this life insurance policy and decided to murder Elizabeth to put Sergio in a position to help with his financial stress. Another possibility, because of the lack of progress, lack of evidence, is that it was a completely random murder. However, the problem with this theory is that the murder appeared to have been planned. At a minimum, the killer probably knew what vehicle Sergio was driving, as the murder happened just moments after he left home. Another possibility is mistaken identity. Perhaps the killer had somebody in mind and unfortunately took Liz's life by mistake. However, this theory suffers from the same problems as the random attack. Whoever committed this murder knew when Elizabeth would be alone, and they also committed this crime very up close and personal. Whoever did this knew Elizabeth's face. The tragic murder of Elizabeth Braza has left an entire community grasping for answers. On the morning of January 25, 2019, in the safety of her own driveway, Elizabeth's life was cut short in a seemingly random act of violence. Surveillance footage captured a figure approaching her, but the person's identity and motive remained shrouded in mystery. The evidence left behind, security footage, an abandoned car nearby, scattered items, revealed little about who could have committed this crime or why they would target Elizabeth, a young woman known for her kindness and love for life. Investigators have scoured every detail, searched for connections to anyone who might have wished her harm, but no suspect has ever emerged. No clear motive, no forensic breakthroughs. Some believe it may have been a random attack, while others suggest she was intentionally targeted by someone who knew her routine, her habits, or perhaps even harbored a hidden grudge. But with no arrests, the case has left Elizabeth's family in unimaginable pain searching for justice. Now, nearly 5 years later, Elizabeth Braza's case is still unsolved. Her family continues to hope for closure, praying that someone will step forward with a vital piece of information that could finally lead to justice. They, and the Tomball community, refuse to let her memory fade.